guys, it's Daniela again and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am bringing you the Battle of the Sticks foundations. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about Primark stick foundation, Makeup Revolution foundation, like stick foundation obviously, and the L'Oreal stick foundation. So if you're excited about this video, continue watching and let's get started. So I am wearing two of the foundations today. On this side of my face, I'm wearing the Makeup Revolution, and on this side I am wearing the L'Oreal foundation. So these are the foundations I'm going to be talking about, all of these. So let's start off with the Primark foundation. So this foundation cost me £5 and I have used that much up already, as you can see. So I have really been testing these foundations out, and this foundation is called My Perfect Colour Moisturising Foundation Stick, and it says it's buildable coverage, velvet finish with vitamin E. So my thoughts on this are, when the first 4 or 5 times I wore it, it looked really good. I'd only worn this foundation for like a maximum of like 2 hours, 3 hours, and then come home taking off my foundation. So I wore this once to IKEA and it looked perfectly fine within, I'd say about, say 3.5 hours. Once it kind of started hitting the 4-hour mark, it started looking cakey, really textured. It wasn't holding up any of my oils. It just wasn't looking the best. Like, out of all my foundations, it was creasing and everything. So my notes are, so it definitely does look a bit cakey. Not at the beginning, but after about 3 to 4 hours, it can start looking cakey. If you've got any texture, any dry patches, this will emphasize it. If you have dry skin and you have dry patches, I would recommend really moisturizing, like heavily moisturizing. It does not last long, obviously I just said. I would not recommend this to someone who's got oily skin, personally. Like, I don't have the oiliest of skin, and this yet became extremely oily on me. This blends out incredibly easy. I really like how blendable it is. The coverage on one layer, spot on. I really like it. Because sometimes I've got a lot of marks, like today I'm kind of having a good skin day. I've got a few spots, but the marks don't seem to be as visible. This does usually cover up my skin pretty well on one layer, but I do add another layer just for extra coverage. I would recommend it. If you're looking to try a foundation that's in a stick form, try it and see if you like it. It's not expensive. It's Primark. It's PF Beauty. It's not bad. I will probably still wear it and just keep playing with it. I've tried without primer. I've tried with primer. I've tried not setting it. I've tried setting it. I've tried using a facial spray, like a setting spray. And the outcomes are still pretty the same, except when I set it, that's when I feel like it looked the worst on me. Without setting it, it looked fine, but it doesn't last long when you don't set it. Okay, so that's that foundation. Would I wear it again? Yeah, of course. Am I going to wear it for like an event? No. Am I going to wear it for like a trip to the coffee shop with a friend for like an hour or 2 or 3? Yeah, I will. And the shade that I got in the Primark one is called Nude Beige. The colour isn't too bad. It's a little bit light for me at the moment, as you can see. Out of all the foundations, I would put my Primark one to my least favourite. And the next foundation I'm going to talk about is the L'Oreal ones. And these are called L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Shaping Stick Foundation. And I've got the shade 130 Vanilla. And then I've got Sand 160. So these are the foundations. So as you can see, I've used up quite a lot. Obviously, I've used this one up more than this one, just because I am a little bit tanner at the moment. Literally the tiniest bit. And I'm wearing this foundation on this side of my face, and so far I really like it. So I'm going to read you what I wrote in my notes. This foundation is dewy if you don't set it. If you set it, it will kind of look more matte. This foundation sits really well on my skin. It doesn't emphasize any texture. All these foundations are really easy to blend. Extremely easy. I've used a brush with them previously, but I prefer a beauty blender, but that's my personal preference. With this foundation, I would say it's medium coverage, but it's extremely buildable. You can build this up to full coverage. The only thing I would say about this is it does crease. It's creased a little bit on my forehead here and a tiny bit here, but saying that, it doesn't crease as much as the Primark one. The Primark one I think creases more. This foundation, unfortunately, I would not recommend, and I know I won't be wearing in the summer. It does not hold back any oil. Yesterday I wore this for about 5 hours. Did start getting oily. I had to blot my skin, which I never have to do. So I do not recommend this for oily skin. Stick foundations can be really hard for oily skins. I think, just because they tend to be of an oilier consistency. So that is the L'Oreal stick foundation. So let's move on to the Makeup Revolution ones, and these are called the Fast Base Stick Foundation. I've got the shade F5 and F7. I'm wearing the Makeup Revolution one on this side of my face, and they look pretty identical, if I'm honest. I will have to say the Makeup Revolution's creased a little bit more on this side than the L'Oreal one, but then the Makeup Revolution one isn't showing as much texture as the L'Oreal one. I really like this foundation. I'm going to show you the colours and how much I used. So this is shade F7. This is shade F5. F5 is definitely darker than F7, which I find is a little bit odd. So this one here is F5 and then this one is F7, and I will show you a close-up, but you can definitely tell there is a colour difference, which doesn't make sense to me. Shouldn't F5 be lighter than F7, not the other way around? F5, F7. This foundation, I would say, is really buildable for like a full coverage look. I would say out of all of these foundations, these are the most dewy ones. They are not matte on my skin at all. They're really dewy, and that's probably why I like them as much as I do, because they're dewy. And if you do set it, you can become a little bit more matte. It doesn't become like a matte where it's like and it's horrible. It's a good, nice matte. This one also sits really well. As I said before, it does have a tendency to crease the tiniest bit. As you know, my problem area is majority of the time around my mouth, and it hasn't creased too much considering I haven't set it. I will wear this foundation out. I don't think it looks too bad. The colour isn't too bad. As I said before, I have to mix 2 colours. This one lasts pretty well. It does last pretty well. So out of all of these foundations, these 2 are my favourite. I know that once I use these up, I know I will be buying these again. Out of all the foundations I'm talking today, I would recommend first the Makeup Revolution one, then the L'Oreal, then the Primark. I've had really good makeup days with these ones. I wore this to Starbucks once to meet a friend, and she was like, your skin looks absolutely amazing. My skin did look really nice. It looked dewy, it looked glowy, it just looked fresh. And this was this foundation. So yeah guys, this is the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up and some comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.